Land banking has proven to be one of the ways smart investors have built wealth over time through real estate investments. In this video, we'll be discussing land banking, the benefits of land banking, as well as the factors you have to consider before you embark on land banking. My name is Iyayi Agbodefe. I'm not alone in this video. I have a wonderful guest with me who I'll be co-hosting this video with, and I would love him to do an introduction of himself.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Iyayi, for having me on your set today. My name is E.B. Victor, Abuja Favorite Realtor.
So we'll be discussing land banking, and from observation and from studies, land banking has proven to be one of the ways smart investors have been able to build wealth over time. And so I thought it necessary for we to have a proper discussion so that our viewers, our followers, our smart investors out there who haven't leveraged on this opportunity of land banking will know exactly what to do and how to go about that. So first, what is land banking?
Land banking, like you said earlier, is one of the ways most investors have built wealth over the years. So for me, I would say land banking is actually getting a land and leaving it over a period of time to appreciate before either developing or deciding to resell that land or do something else with that particular land.
Wow, that is so apt. According to you, it is you acquiring pieces of land and keeping it over the years, either to develop or to resell after it must have appreciated.
So I'd love to add at this point that places where you do land banking must not necessarily be fully developed, as it were.
Okay.
So most people who involve themselves in land banking do not go for locations that are developed, but places that have potential to develop.
I think that is a key word, that have potential to develop.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, it's a rule of thumb that if you want to actually do land banking successfully, you have to go for places that have potential to develop.
Exactly.
And you have to enter at the lowest entry point, because that is where the return on investment actually lies.
Sure.
Okay, so it is, for me, I also want to chip in that instead of you keeping your money in the bank, it's better you do land banking.
Yeah, it's safer to actually invest in lands, because the money you invest in the bank or you save in the bank, you end up having more like 5%, 10% interest on your money after 12 months or thereabout.
Even that 10%, that one is even exaggeration.
It's a mega amount compared to what your investment in land banking can actually give you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So quickly, we'll just quickly talk about the benefits of land banking. I know that a lot of you, your body is already inching you on why should you go for land banking? What are the benefits you get when you do land banking? So, Mr. E.B. Victor, what do you think are the benefits of land banking?
Okay, for me, I would say it is one of the ways to gain huge returns on investment.
Okay.
That is one. Secondly, you can actually begin land banking with a little amount.
Okay.
Because most of the areas where you do land banking are not necessarily developed, as it were. So most of the properties around there, or most of the lands around there, are quite on the lower side of investment.
So they'll be affordable.
So they'll be affordable at the time of you wanting to do your investment.
Okay.
So you can actually get a piece of land at an affordable price if you want to do land banking.
Okay, so in terms of affordability, land banking gives you that opportunity to be able to own a piece of land that is quite affordable. So instead of you going for areas that are highly developed and you are trying to look for how you can catch up with the prices of properties in that area, it is better you go for land banking. That will give you the opportunity to enter into the market at a highly affordable price.
Yeah.
Nice one. And let me quickly also add, one other benefit of land banking is that you can use land banking for projects. What do I mean by that? If, for an instance, maybe you have your children and you want to send them to school abroad. So for me, this is a strategy that I will advise or recommend for every smart investors. Let's say you have 2 or 3 children and you want to send them abroad to go and school. Maybe as that when you give birth to them, you can say, okay, you buy a plot of land for them. Don't forget, for land banking purpose.
For land banking purpose.
So you buy a plot of land for them. As they grow up, don't forget the prices or there
is appreciation that takes place on the land.
Yes, on the land. So eventually, when that child grows up to maybe 18 years, you want to send the child to college, as the case may be, you won't actually struggle at that point in time. Yeah.
So that's one of the benefits of actually, investing in land banking. And I would like to say something. Something also came to my mind again
Okay.
while we're talking about this. Land banking, if you actually acquire a land for land banking, there is every possibility that with time you can put that land out for lease.
All right.
So people can actually be using the land on lease for lease purpose. So they can get the land, do what they want to do there for a period of years. The land still belongs to you, but you are gaining money already from it without doing anything on the land. So if you invest in land banking, you also have things that can be going on that land while you are waiting for it to fully appreciate for you to do what you want to do with that land.
And I think that is so smart.
Yeah.
In between, you are getting money from the lease.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, the land still belongs to you.
Sure.
So while the land is appreciating, you are getting money. And when you fully appreciate, maybe you feel like selling or developing, it is still your choice.
Exactly.
Wow. So I hope you are jotting things down, because these are the many benefits you get when you do land banking. It is one way smart investors have been able to build wealth over time. And I just hope you take advantage of that. Quickly, before we round up this show, what are the factors one have to consider? I know a lot of persons are already thinking of, let me go and do land banking, sharp, you understand? But there are factors you need to consider before doing land banking. Because like I will always say, it is not enough to have money for real estate. Just because you have money doesn't mean you should dump the money in real estate. If not, you may not be able to get the full benefit that the real estate industry has to offer. So there are factors you have to consider before your land banking can actually be able to pay you off. So, sir, what are the factors that one can consider before doing land banking?
For me, I'll say consider the location.
Okay.
Look at the location before investing. It's popularly said in real estate that look towards the north, 30 minutes away from the city center, to the south, 30 minutes away from the city center, the east and the west.
Okay.
Same thing. Go and invest in those locations. So
can you take that again? Because I'm not sure they go to that.
Yeah.
For me, that is Rema.
So to invest or to do a land banking project,
all right,
look towards the north, 30 minutes away from the city center.
Okay.
To the south, 30 minutes away from the city center.
Okay.
The east or the west, regardless.
Okay.
Then that's those locations away from the city center. Invest in those locations. Because if they are 30 minutes away from the city center, there's every possibility that in the next few years, development will get to those particular locations.
There is every possibility that in the next few years, development will spread from the
city center to those areas. Now, one thing you should also look out for again when trying to invest or do a land banking investment is for you to look out for government presence. What is the government's interest in those locations you are looking at to invest in? If you find anything about the government around there, you hear the government talking about roads, you hear the government talking about lights, you hear the government talking about mass housing or whatever they are talking about that pertains to those locations, quickly go to those environments to buy lands and invest in that place.
Government presence is a key factor. Anywhere government goes, it naturally attracts investors and people, because people will always naturally be gravitated towards that location. So government presence is a key interest. Just like a place in Lagos like Ekpe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So most of the big boys cashing out in Ekpe right now are people who have bought the land way back. They are not people who just suddenly heard of Ekpe or heard of what is happening there and they rush down to that place. No, they are the people who saw the future and invested in Ekpe. They are the ones now reselling, and you are beginning to hear Ekpe presently in Lagos. So look at it that way. Is government presence in that area? What are the infrastructures that are potentially going to be in that area? Look out for those things and invest in those locations.
Just to quickly add, one mistake most investors make is that they always want to wait for the place to fully develop before they invest. But then you are already coming late.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I will always say that now who first enter that place, now will become king of that place. You get?
You have to be the lord of the land.
Yes, you have
before
to
the people come in.
Thank you. And for real estate to work for you, you need foresight actually. So you need to be able to interpret where the people are going to and go there before they get there. Eventually, when that happens, you'll be the one cashing out big time. So another factor that one has to consider before embarking on land banking is that you have to consider proper documentation.
Very important.
You have to consider proper documentation, because at the end of the day, when you don't do proper documentation, it will be difficult for you to say that the land is for you. So even if you are buying it from someone that is close to you, a relative, a friend, as the case may be, proper documentation has to be done properly. So doing that, what you are eventually doing is that you are transferring title, interest, and ownership to you. And lastly, I also think that one factor one has to consider is the security of the place.
Yes, the security is also important, very important, because one thing that is, make real estate appreciate is the security of a place.
Yes.
If there is space, tranquility around an environment, people easily move towards the environment.
Yes.
That's why investing in Abuja remains one of the safest real estate investments anybody can make, because the security here is top notch.
Yeah.
This is the seat of power.
Yeah.
So every investment made here necessarily is secured,
as far as it is done rightly.
Yeah. Generally, Abuja has that somewhat security around it.
Yeah.
So any environment that is secured will naturally attract investors.
Absolutely.
So look out for the security of the place before investing in it.
And one also just came to my mind. I think let me quickly check that, because it will also be important for somebody to hear that. Another thing you should also consider is that when you eventually buy a plot of land for land banking, ensure you register your presence in that place.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
You see a situation where some persons fence the place around. That is just to show ownership, that somebody actually owns this place, and this place is not just looking around.
Sure, your presence must be established.
Yes, your presence has to be established. All right, so we would love to draw the curtain here, but before we do that, I would love to ask my guests, what is your final word for our smart investors out there who are looking at doing land banking?
I want to end with this popular quote, which says, look out for where the people are going and buy the land before they get there. Don't wait until a place is developed before you choose to invest in that location. Somebody who is involved in land banking will look out for those places that are not yet developed and invest in that place, so that by the time development gets to that place, you would be the one that will be the big boy, or be the one that will be cashing out at the time development is entering that particular location.
That is so apt. And for me, my final word for you is that every city was once a bush, and every bush has a potential to become a city. So for real estate to actually benefit you, you must have foresight. You must be strategic in your investment approach. By so doing, you will be able to maximize the potential in real estate. And one of the ways you do that is by going for land banking. I hope you've enjoyed this show. So if you have any questions or inquiries, please kindly reach out to the number showing on your screen. Kindly like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel if you are yet to do so, so that you'll be the first to be notified whenever our video or content come online. So see you on the side of words. Bye.